what can we do over the summer? Because well, there's still some in the summer competitions coming up. There's the World Champs in Singapore. There's the World Junior Championships that we're gonna go to as well in Romania. It's really a long season. But for everybody else who's already on holiday, or we would just kind of keep engaging you, if that makes sense, and keep giving you value throughout the holidays. And I'm just gonna go live for like 30 minutes or so every single day. I don't have like an exact schedule. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. And then if it works, and the cool thing is so I got TikTok here, I got Instagram over here, I got like Facebook and YouTube over here. And theoretically, I should be seeing all your chats. And so if you drop a question in a chat, it should theoretically come up for me. Okay. If it doesn't this time, I'll figure it out for the next time. And then what I'll do, I'll just answer your questions. Okay. But for today, there's like this one question that every swimmer and every swim parent at some point is going to run into. And that is, you see how your child is swimming really, really well in training, right? You see them like race hard, not be afraid of the pain, and to like really lean into it and do a lot of hard work in training. And then they start to taper and they start to rest and they go to nationals, let's say, or age group nationals, or like even an international competition, right? They go there and all of a sudden you notice how their behavior changes. Some people become like more withdrawn. Some people get like really, some of the kids get really anxious, nervous, can't sleep. There's some people get like panic attacks just thinking about race and all that. And it's like, okay, what is going on? You love this sport, right? And you train for it almost every day, some people twice a day. And then you go to a competition and it's almost like you don't want to be there, right? And I think, you see, like when you go to a competition, that is supposed to be fun. But so many parents that we speak to, what they're reporting is like what they're seeing in their child is actually that the child, or like the teenager, whatever, right, doesn't actually want to be there in that moment, which is kind of weird. And it's sad, because why did we get into swimming in the first place? Well, I'm sure there's different reasons, and well, I know there's different reasons. Some people just want to go and like hang out with friends, but the people that we work with, they got a competitive drive. And a lot of them got into swimming because they got a big dream, like going to the Olympics, making a national team, like representing their country and stuff, right? And that's why they practice so hard. So like going to compete, it's supposed to be the most fun time, because all the hard stuff is in training and you suffer and you do long sets and and you go on training camps and all that stuff. But then you get to show the world what you're made of and what you trained for and everything. And that should be like the most fun part of things. And people got it backwards. It's like they look at training as like this, I'll just go and see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, I'll bounce back. I'll try to bounce back tomorrow. No, they're super relaxed in training. And then it's time to compete. And all of a sudden they become very serious. Like very serious. Right? But it's supposed to be the other way around. It's like training supposed to be very methodological, very consistent, right? Doing a lot of small things right in and out of the pool. And then when you get to the competition, that's fun. That's the fun part. That's when you get to show the world what's going on, right? And so that's where we want to get to, because if your teenager can go there and actually wants to be there and is excited about the race and has like the race of his or her life, because they're present, they're calm, they're relaxed, and they're excited at the same time, well, guess what? Their motivation is going to go through the freaking roof. And they're going to do even better in training. And they're going to make even better decisions for their life outside of the pool, right? It just happens automatically, because what do they want? If they got into swimming, into competitive swimming, because they like the competitiveness of the sport and they want to compete against everybody else, and they also want to compete against themselves and better their PBs and drop time and drop time and drop time, because it's one of the best feelings in the world for a swimmer. Okay? And so now I forgot train of thought. Okay, so yeah, when they go to competition and they do really, really, really well, they're going to be really, really, really excited about it. And they're going to be really, really, really motivated moving forward. It's the best thing that could happen to them. Okay. And so that's where sports psychology comes in. And so far, sports psychology has been around for a long time. I mean, but the thing is that, well, it's coming from America, as like so many of these things, right? And they're ahead of us here in Europe. And it's mostly available in like sports where there's a lot of money, right? But back in the days, I learned that from another sports psychologist. In American football, two coaches figured out, okay, if we go to the gym with our dudes, right? Because dudes playing, they're gonna get really big, and if they're really big, they're just gonna run over everybody else. And that's what they did. So they started going to the gym and they started just trampling over everybody else and started winning everything. Okay. Soon after that, obviously everybody picked up on it. I was like, okay, we all got to go to the gym. Makes total sense. Now everybody goes to the gym. Okay. Then the next idea was, okay, now we got these big dudes. Okay. Strong, powerful dudes. They got to eat right. Okay? They can't be eating McDonald's all the fun. Not supposed to swear. Sorry. It's a swim parent show, but like, I'm aware there's like, kids watching, so excuse my language, just caught myself. But it's like we got these big machines, and now we gotta feed them the right kind of food to optimize the performance even more. Makes total sense, right? That's where nutritionists came along, and one team after the other started to bring on nutritionists, and that changed the game. Now everybody, it's like totally normal. Everybody knows that nutrition is hugely important. Funny story, for those of you who still know Ryan Lochte, American swimmer, hugely talented and like hardworking and everything. He still got the 200 individual medley record. Let's see if it stands the time at the World Champs in Singapore, because I heard Leon Marchand he's not swimming the two fly, he's not swimming the 200 breaststroke, he's just swimming. Well, I don't know what exactly his schedule is, but he's trying to focus on the 200 IM, and my guess is that he's going to go for the world record. Anyway, it's 154.0 something, I think. So fast. So Ryan Lochte, I think that was in Beijing, he was still eating McDonald's, because in the Olympic Village, there is a McDonald's, believe it or not. Okay, so in the Olympic Village, you have, the food is really, really good. At least in London where I was, it was really, really good. It's huge. I mean, like there's so many athletes, right? And you got people for food for like Middle East, halal and all that. You got like American food, you got like European food, you got Asian food, you got everything. And one of the things is like a McDonald's. And Ryan Lochte in 2008, he ate McDonald's every single day, right? And he was still swimming really fast, but always behind Michael Phelps. And then there's a guy, he said, okay, Ryan, you can't be eating McDonald's all the time, because he was eating a lot of junk food at home in Florida as well. He started changing his diet, and then like a year or two later, he started crushing the world records, right? And beating Michael Phelps. So yeah, okay, nutrition. Okay, so it was strength first, nutrition then. And then the next thing, now we're moving into the psychology part of it, was that they're like, okay, we got big dudes, they're eating right. So the next thing is we got to train the mind, okay? And I'll explain that in a second. And so they started doing what we call mental training, okay? And I want to show you, just like give you an impression of what this is, because it's hugely, hugely powerful. And so far, it's only been available to sports where you make a lot of money, or like to absolutely elite. In swimming, it's been around. Like Leon Marchand talks about it. I got a really cool clip on YouTube. Maybe I can stream that like tomorrow if I figure out how to actually do that. Where he speaks about how he hit a plateau, and that was about like 4 or 5 years ago, and he started working with a sports psychologist, and all of a sudden, right, that's now the Leo Marchand that that was exactly because of that. And he speaks that but it's available, or it was available to all these like super elite swimmers, which I guess it makes sense. But our mission at Swimpros.com is to make that education, to make it available, because we can with online. I mean, we got like freaking, I see like there's 40 people watching. Amazing. Okay. So we can, with the internet, we can make it available to everyone who wants it. Okay, and so my goal is to show you that, like, to ignite that fire inside of you. You know, that curiosity is like, oh, okay, shit. If, because like sometimes I give swimmers a what we call the Michael Phelps 4282 breathing technique. It takes 12 seconds. It takes about 5 minutes to learn. It takes 12 seconds, and what it does, it takes about 90% of that nervous energy in the call room, and it turns it into power and focus. Okay, 5 minutes to learn, and takes 12 seconds to execute. You can use it in a call room. You can use it in front of the blocks. You can use it on the blocks if you're doing a relay, and it works like a magic trick, right? And I can just promise you, those 5 minutes to learn that thing is going to be the best investment of your time, because even if you swam another 2 hours, another 4 hours every week, you wouldn't get that kind of output that you get in just 5 minutes. Okay, that's what it is, because of this. Okay, let me explain. I didn't invent this, by the way. A lot of what I teach, okay, it's not like I came up with all of that, right? So as I said, sports psychology has been around for a long time. And what happened with me, I'm not going to tell my story today. Okay, this is for another time. But I used to struggle with competitions, important competitions, a lot. And I mean, yeah, it was hard, and I didn't have like the kind of support. But I swam at the University of Virginia, where Gretchen Walsh, Alex Walsh, Kate Douglas, right, all these like world record holders are from. And when I was there, in my last year, they hired the sports psychologist of Michael Phelps. And I was the first person of all the athletes that we have at the university, which is thousands, right? The first guy in his office, and I started working with him. It was amazing, okay? And he showed me the ladder to success. So a lot of what I teach and show you is not, I'm just passing on what I have learned over the last 27 years in competitive swimming. And a lot of the tools, the specific tools that I have learned, like visualization, breathing, stuff like that, they're from the sports psychologist of Michael Phelps. Now, if you're a swimmer and, Michael Phelps, it doesn't get much better than that, I would say. And so imagine it's a sports psychologist of Michael Phelps who's been with him for like a decade. And that's tools that you can learn. You can learn for free, right? So hopefully I can help you to kind of investigate that. You don't believe me, but like just investigate it, try it out, try it on for size. And so in the first session, when I was in his office, that's where I want to get to, okay? To just explain to you that why things work out in practice really well, and then why it's not working out under pressure, okay? Because this is what you need to understand fundamentally, and it's called the ladder to success. Okay, so let me show you. I'm just making sure that we capture all the screens here. So here, I'm just going to put an S for the next level of success. And I'm going to put a heart around that, because ideally there is passion involved, right? So you have your next level of success. Maybe that is making a national team. Maybe it is making next year's world championships. Maybe it is making the open water national team. Like, whatever it is, okay? Maybe it is making regionals. It is your next level of success. And here's what the sports psychologist Phelps said. There is a ladder that leads to that next level of success. So he drew a ladder that looks something like this, okay? And there's three components in this ladder. So there's the left leg, there's the right leg, and there's this middle part. And what he said was this, and I want you to think about this on your own, big picture. There are only three things that we swimmers can train. What are they? What are the three things that a swimmer can train? Big picture. Okay. So the first one, and that is the left leg, right, is going to be your body. Okay. So you can train your body. You can train your endurance. You can train your explosiveness. You can train your mobility, right? Working. Oh, by the way, there's nutrition is in there. Sleep is in there. So it's about training your body and recovering your body. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So that's the first thing that you can train. What is the second thing that you can train? There's no particular order. That's how I was taught. Okay, The second thing, and that's the right leg here, the second thing you can train is you can train your technique, right? So that would be, if you're freestyler or butterfly, it's like the high catch, okay? Like, wow, going really high in the catch. It could be your underwater dolphin kicks, it could be starts, turns, right? It's like, well, it's your rotation, it's your technique. Hugely important as well. And I would say, just as a side note, the younger you are, the more important this is, okay? Because if you do not have a good technique or efficient technique, because there's some that doing like open water 1500, like Gregorio Paltinieri, the Italian guy, he's not exactly swimming beautifully, but he's still swimming effectively. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so fast and wouldn't, right? For that, like, I mean, he's been around for like years and years and years at a super high level. That's what I mean. But technique, hugely important, especially always important. But like when you have a kid who's still like 10, 12, 13, 14, very, very important that they learn, that they get the technical education. Okay. So we got the body, we got the technique, and now the third thing, you guessed it, it's the middle part, is going to be the mind. And these happen to be the only three things that we can train. That's it. Body, technique, and mind for swimming. Okay? And so here's what he said. We're getting to the lesson. Let me just have a sip of water here. If you got a question, just drop it in the chat. It would be nice for me to figure out if the chat actually works. I'm a bit overwhelmed because I got a screen here, But anyway, I'll figure it out with time. So bear with me. We got body, technique, and mind. And here's what he said. He said, to succeed, to get to your next level of success, you need to have all three, the body, the technique, and the mind at a high level at the same time. Let me give you a couple of examples, okay? If your teenager, your child, your swimmer is mentally the strongest swimmer in the world, and they have a great technique, it's super dialed in, but they just caught the flu and got a 40-degree fever, or they got a broken shoulder, it is not going to go very well, okay? If they are mentally super strong and they're in great physical shape, but they just changed their entire breaststroke technique last night, it's also not going to go very well because they're confused and they haven't integrated that new technique yet. All right. And the third case, and that was my case, and that is the case for a lot of people, I'll explain in a second why, is that our body, we're in shape. Our technique is dialed in. How do we know? Because we do this, or almost do this, in practice. So we actually have evidence that the body is in shape and that the technique is dialed in. Is it world class? Maybe not, but it's at a level where you should get to that next level where you want to be. Okay? But great shape, great technique, totally capable to reach that next level of success. How do we know? We know it from training. We got the evidence. But in competition, under the pressure, the mind breaks down. Right? And that's why it doesn't work out. That's why your swimmer is limited by their mind. So we always need to look at what is the lowest of these three. And yeah, our main expertise, we also do swim camps, right? We got our Tenerife swim camp coming up in like 2 weeks where we got 40 elite swimmers in the top 3 or T3 training there with the Flume channel and everything. We also do swim camps. So we can work on that. But most of the year, we do this. But just doing this, the mind alone, isn't going to do anything either, because as you know, we can become mentally so strong, but if we don't develop the technique and the technique falls away, then we're going to be limited by the technique, right? Or if we're getting lazy, we're not training, well, it's not going to happen. If you're mentally strong, you're not going to get lazy, you know what I mean? But anyway, theoretically, right? So now we got to stay healthy. This is a good one. We got it. So many swimmers that come to us, they like always get sick before a big meet. It's got to stop, right? And that could be could be a mental thing. You know, this is just interesting. There's often like what we find, because it happens again, there's like a pattern. There's like something happening underneath that's not so obvious because they do everything to stay healthy and all that. But yeah, we need all three. That's the point. Okay. But if we have, and this is the main point that I want to make today, is that if we are doing well in training and it doesn't work out in important competitions, then it's because of the mind. It has to be, because otherwise it would, if it was a technical thing or a body thing, it would be showing up in training too. And your child would suck in training also. But if they don't, and they only not get it done in competition, it has to be because of the mind. And it has to be because of the pressure, not because you put pressure on them or the coach. It could be, but in most cases, it's just that the swimmer just internalizes that pressure. And it's self-created pressure, which is good news, because when it's self-created, we can change it. Okay? So I hope I got that point across. So that he called that the ladder to success. We need all three at a high level at the same time, and then there is nothing that will prevent us from reaching that next level of success. And then guess what happens? Guess what happens? If you reach that level, there's going to be the next level of success up here, right? And there's going to be a new ladder that leads there. And then there's going to be another one and another one. And that does not stop until you're done swimming or you don't have any goals anymore, right? So we always want to look at what is the lowest of the three. And if we know that it works out in training, but it doesn't in competition, or they're not showing their full potential in competition, then we know why it is. It's because they have not learned how to deal with the pressure of competition just yet. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just a mental skill that they have not learned. It's literally like that. Your child hasn't learned how to swim butterfly yet. It's not that they cannot swim butterfly. It's that they haven't learned. Nobody has taught them how to swim butterfly yet. Okay? So if this is happening, it's not because they're mentally not strong, not capable, there's something wrong with them. No, it's just nobody has taught them how to handle the pressure. Period. And between you and I, most swim coaches don't do that because they don't have the expert knowledge that is required, because the mind is a very complex thing. I don't claim to know everything about the mind. I don't. I know that much about how much there is to know. But over the years, I mean, I've learned some like really practical and effective, easy, simple tools that are easy to apply, really easy, that get massive results because we already know we're here with the body. We already know we're here with the technique. And then when we unlock that, off we go, right? It's like one of my favorite emojis is that freaking rocket that goes up, right? Okay, that rocket. That's what this is. It's like the missing. Sometimes I call it the missing piece. You're so close, and all the work basically is done. There's just like a little missing piece, and that is the mental piece. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea. If you're confused about why they don't like love being in competition, why they're like small before they start, why they're shaking and all that, because I guess a parent, it sucks to see your child like go through these emotions and experience. But at the same time, right, what you can do as a parent, and you know, I'm not saying like most of you parents, like my daughter's still really young, we got, you know, but I mean, it sucks to see them suffer, but at the same time, it is their opportunity to learn and to develop their character, right? Because swimming is an amazing life school. Like competitive swimming, I mean, swimming is good to like know because there's lakes and oceans and stuff, right? You're more safe. But competitive swimming is a really, really good life school. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you consistency. It teaches you saying no to things, planning, the pressure of competition, the stress of like training, scheduling. If you're making a lot of friends. Like for me, I'm 37. All my friends, all of them except one, are swimmers. And that's a while ago, you know, and uh, it's just like the bonds and the friendships that come, like the ups and downs, the training camps and stuff. It's just so many, the holidays together. There's so many good memories. So swimming is an absolutely amazing life school. But for them to like fully experience it, they have to be in the sport for like a long time, right? If they quit at 12 and 13, 14 because they're hitting a plateau, they're missing out on that opportunity to, especially in today's world with the phones and stuff, you know, like we're losing the kids. They're like on their phone all the time. And swimming is like the opportunity to get out of that and not be in a freaking online world all the time and do something with their body, you know, do something amazing and compete and all that, but they have to enjoy it. You know, I'm getting a little worked up, like excited about it. They have to enjoy the process. Otherwise, like you're not going to do, even you as a parent, if you hate something, you don't want to be there, it's just a matter of time until you choose not to do it. And that's why there's a study in the US. 75 to 80% of the, I think 13 or 14-year-old kids stop with competitive swimming because of depression. 75 to 80% stop at 13, 14. Crazy. And that's so sad, right? That's so sad. But if they have this and they have that and that, they're going to be very successful in training, not in training competition, in both training and competition. That was what I was saying earlier. And they'll feel very successful and they'll be very motivated. And it just creates this upward spiral of awesomeness. This just creates upward momentum and things will get a lot easier, right? This start to progress even faster, start to dream even bigger. They get more sponsorship deals. It's just like an upward thing, okay? But they have to learn how to handle the pressure. That's my point today. Okay? So I hope that was useful. I'm gonna go online. I'm gonna go live every day. If I miss a day, I'm sick or have like so many meetings. But I'll do my best. If you got any questions, drop it in chat or even you know, you could also just message me, DM me, or whatever. I'll try to get back to everyone as fast as I can. And see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.